you know how much I love May, and I mean, if you are any sort of gardener, it's one of the most exciting times of the year because everything starts popping up. But you will also know just how overwhelming that list of tasks can be. So whereas I have got on with a few things, I've attached the water butts at the front of the polytunnel. I'll come back to those later on and show you how I've done them. I tend to make a list and think, right, I'm just going to tick things off one at a time, and then I leave the list in the shed at the bottom of the garden, and by the time I've walked a few feet I've spotted something and that takes my attention straight away. So for example, yesterday I was determined that I was going to plant my yellow mange tout. They're a variety called Golden Sweet. I've never grown them before, and as I went to plant them I suddenly thought, tangent, I know something that could really help these climb. So with that, I left the mange tout in a wheelbarrow. They're still there, I'll show you in a moment. And I came up to the top end of the plot where about a month, 6 weeks ago, I was demonstrating the Prunarbo shears, which I still absolutely love. And I gave the apple tree over there a bit of a prune, I gave the buddleia a bit of a prune, and we were left with some huge branches. Now, I'm coming round to it. Instead of actually putting the branches in my dead hedge area, as I call it, which is basically where all the dead wood goes, I thought to myself, right, okay, let's sort these out, because some of it, okay, it's going to need to be stored for a little while, will be brilliant for the tent stove in the shed as kindling, firewood. Some of it is just really good support stuff. I've got longer pieces than that down there, but if I go for the smaller pieces like this, they will make brilliant pea sticks. And when I say pea sticks, in my case I mean mange tout sticks. So let me show you how I'm going to do it, because all I am going to want to do is bridge the gap between where the mange tout are going to go in and the frame that they're going to climb up. So I don't want huge, great big pea sticks. I just want nice little twiggy things for them to cling onto. So let's get some of these done as well. While I'm doing this though, I must also say, so where can I put that one? I'll put that one on that chair. It's a good job I've got so many chairs around here. That one, no, that one can go on that chair. I've also got to say a big thank you to all the advice I received last week about the poor asparagus and the peach tree. I'm going to leave them a bit longer. Last week I was all for just getting rid altogether, but I will leave them a bit longer because that peach tree, poor thing, it has been pulled up and dragged from its home this year, so I'll give it a bit longer of a chance. And the asparagus, we have had a few more spears, but the crowns are definitely past their best. So I don't know, I've had somebody said give them a really good mulch in the winter. I think that was Chris, thanks Chris, of manure, but they did have a really good mulch of manure in the winter, so I don't know, it's an ongoing problem, but whilst they're not cropping, I shall just completely ignore it, probably till next year. But also, I must say thank you to Steve, who's one of my patrons, who is just such a knowledgeable gardener. And whereas I thought I had whitefly on my brassicas, he told me they were cabbage aphid, mealy aphid, they were sort of aphid, but yeah, I'm not doing very well with this, am I? Okay, let me get some more sticks. I have still got a discount code if you want to treat yourself to a pair of these. They're not cheap, but honestly, I've lent them out to several people and everybody just absolutely loves them. But yeah, if you want to treat yourself, have a look in the details below and there's a discount code there. This is the wood that I've bought to make the boxes in the polytunnel to grow the yard-long beans and the loofah in. And as you can see, that's a job that still needs doing, but there you go. This bed, yeah, did have a whole bunch of homemade compost and some well-rotted manure put on over the winter. It's just got a few little weeds in there, it's not bad actually. But you will see that it's sunk this is what I said last week, you always need to be aware that if you do a raised bed or any sort of compost, but it's more visible in raised beds, you think that you've got it absolutely full, and you know by the next year it will have rotted down. Sorry, I've got the sun right in my eyes. This is bad filming for you, isn't it? But, and I'm sniffing. I don't know, there must be something I'm slightly allergic to here. Right, so you can see that has gone all the way down. Now, had I not already planted up some spare garlic in the bed opposite, I'd have topped both of them up again, but actually it's still got a good foot of manure and compost above the actual ground. So, and it's open bottom, so it goes into the ground below. So all I'm going to do, when I say I want to bridge the gap between where the mange tout are going to go, I keep calling the beans, mange tout are going to go, I want there to be something between here and there that's going to help them, so that when I put them in, they're not just going to flop forward. So hopefully this sort of thing might be just the ticket. And I'm not worried if you're shouting at the screen and saying, Jane, be careful, they might root. I don't care, because to be honest, they'll just come out again at the end of the season. But actually, look, that, it's not just going to give it something to lead its way to there, it's going to give it something else to climb up. So if I can get all the way over there with these ones, and actually the little bits, I've been thinking ever since I did it about 3 minutes ago, the little bit that I put on the spare chair, they're going to come in very useful as well, because I've thought of an idea for them. So let's get these in, and then I'll show you the mange tout. Rocky's having a lovely little nap there under the apple tree. Right, okay, here we go. I finally got my wheelbarrow back after getting rid of most of the wood we had inside. We did have a bonfire yesterday on the plot. Now, it's not something that a lot of people agree with, I know that, but in our case, we have one maybe once a year, and it was only small and it lasted for about an hour. So I know some people aren't allowed to have bonfires on the gardens. What about you? Do you have one? Put it in the comments below. Right, you can see what a tangled state these are in. I am hoping there are 12 cells there, and there's a few in each cell. I'm hoping to do both sides of this. So let's just have a look. If I pop this one up. You know what, as well? After all the fuss about my hurry knife, and I've got my lovely new one, I put it down somewhere and I don't know where it is, because that is perfect for teasing out seedlings apart from everything else. So let's just hope this isn't going to snap too much. You can see that these should have gone out quite a while ago, but to be honest, I've been erring on the cautious side because of the very cold nights we've been having. Yeah, so if you sorry, just going back to my hurry. I know it'll be in a bed somewhere. And I was talking to Claire from the farmyard garden the other day, and we were trying to come up with the 10 places that your tools get lost most. And I think the first one, number 1, was just in a bed somewhere. You know, up there in the top 5 was usually just behind you. Let me know in the comments below if you lose your tools on a regular basis. Where do you normally find them? Or have you got a brilliant system for not losing them at all? Right, in fact, I don't even need the trowel here because the soil is nice and soft. So I've got 3 there. I'm not going to bother splitting them up because that might damage the roots. Look at the roots, poor things. I will tease them out a bit though. Okay, oh, sun's gone in. Okay, there we are. And I will just put that a little bit deeper because I've teased the roots out now. Oh, there goes the stick. There you go, put your stick up afterwards. That's another option. Right, okay, I'm going to pop them in there. I'll put the stick back in and I'll do a couple more, and then I'll show you just how we're going to weave them round. There we are. Okay, now they're in. I've got the label in. They were planted on the 5th of April, so just over a month ago. I'm taking off the tips As with any plant, if you want them to bush out a bit, just take one of the tips off. Oh look, that's already clinging to that one. Sadly, I'm going to put it on this one, and I'm just going to take those 2 bits off. And that's it. That should now, the next thing that's going to head for, there's actually one of these little tendrils here. That should start going around there. Right, okay. And that's it. We just do them all like that. If they're only short, oh no, I'll still take the tips out. But what I will do now, I will make sure they get a really, really good water. Now you see how that's sticking out like that? That tendril should naturally come up and find that. And if you think it's not gonna, give it a little helping hand. Okay, I'll get on with this, give them a water in, and come back and show you when they're done. One of the things I have noticed since last week is, whereas we've had all this hot, dry weather, which has encouraged quite a lot of people to plant things out, we are still having frost at nights. And if you look here, you can tell on your strawberries, even a week ago, less than a week ago, all of my strawberry flowers looked like that, and they were actually starting to form strawberries in the middle. Once you've had a frost, the flower in the middle goes black like that, which means it won't form a strawberry. So just be aware. I know it's really nice, and when the weather's lovely, it's really tempting to get stuff out early, but if you have put stuff out, keep an eye on the weather and just make sure that you can cover it up somehow. Another quick thing I wanted to show you though was the archway has finally been painted and made sturdy, so really, really pleased with it now. You know that I've got the tapery coming up on this side. That's just one of those jobs that needs sorting out, won't take too long, but bless it. It's now been made a variegated tapery because part of its leaves are natural stone colour. But on this side, I've made a decision. It was going to be vegetables, it was going to be some sort of fruit, but after having the blackberry, which took all the nourishment out of that bed, I decided to go quite straightforward and put up some form of climbing rose. Now, I know it is not going to benefit the garden in any way at all, but I quite like one, and I think, you know what, it's my garden, I can put what I like in it. Let me know, what would you have put there? Put it in the comments below. Right, I'm going to show you those water butts once and for all. Okay, before I even start, let me just show you what I'm going to use. This is a bog standard water butt connector kit. You can get it from anywhere. I'll leave a link to this one down below in the comments, but they're cheap and cheerful. And in there you will have a connecting hose, which will go from one butt to the other, and you will have something for that to screw into, which is here. The most important thing is you need to make sure you know the diameter of the part that is going to go through into your barrel. In this case, that is 25mm, which means that my router needs to be 25mm as well, because that's the size of the hole. It's no good doing one too small, it won't fit. If you do one too big, what's the point? You're going to cause a flood. So, okay, let's get on with my drill. Right then, you know how I feel about power tools, and I must be honest, I don't think I've ever used a router before, so this could all go terribly wrong. But I know I need to get that wibbly, that pointy bit there. I'm going to go slightly higher than a cross that I made because it only needs to be ever so slightly lower than the previous hole. So here we go. Make a little hole first. Oh my goodness. You know what? I don't know, that took a little bit longer than I thought. Okay, what you'll notice now is I'm exhausted now. You've got all these horrible bits of blue plastic everywhere. So let me turn this off because, you know, I really don't like them. I've got rid of a lot of the bits of plastic that are still on the outside. I mean, it's not nice stuff, but it does the job for this, and it's recycling. So I've just used the edge of my hurry to get rid of any of the burrs, any of the blue bits that are just sticking on it. So now, hopefully, just that tiny bit more, that's not good. That tiny bit more will allow me to pop that in there. Like that. I'll bring you over and show you what I'm doing. That now has got a lovely fit. Like I say, we are going to have blue bits every now and then. It's not perfect. I then put my washer on, screw that bit through, just hand tightening it, and then I put this bit on this way around, I hope. As I always say, shout at the screen if I'm wrong, and that should hand tighten quite nicely. Okay, so I'm tightening it on both sides. There we are. I mean, if you're wondering about getting any of these barrels, let me just put these on my hedge table. You can get them from garden centres. If you are doing this in your own garden at home, you might want them to look a bit prettier than this. But for allotments, I mean, they're so easy to get hold of. You can either look at places like online marketplaces, Facebook groups, or you can just ask your local car wash, because they are always trying to get rid of them. Right, I'm going to go and do exactly the same to this barrel as I did to this one, and then we're just going to hope this hose fits. Right, I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this. Because, yeah, they're never in a very convenient place, are they, these water butts? But anyway, I've got my hose. I've got the original barrel here. I've got the new barrel here, which I can turn around a bit. And this bit isn't an exact science. You've just got to make sure you connect that to that with that. Okay, so you can see that is far too long. So if I put it on that side, it should fit really well. All I need is to, I don't know, I'm going to have a little bend in it. I'm going to make a cut in it round about here. Once again, using my lovely hurry. So when people ask you what all the fuss about hurry knives are, it's the fact that you can multitask with them like this. Okay, there we are. And hopefully, she says, making a bit of a faff of it. Bear with me, folks. And then, all you need to do, so right, okay, so I've got that. I'm going to pop that bit on there. Make sure it's on nice and firm. And then I'm just going to pop that bit in there, and I can walk my barrel back up to the first one and make sure I have got a really nice secure fix there, which I think I have. And that's it, done. All we've got to do now is wait for some rain. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, and leaving a comment below. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.